Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks have a major problem that may not be able to actually be resolved. And this has been many years in the making, but this season has become the epitome of this issue. As of this recording, the Atlanta Hawks sit 7-11 and 11th place in the Eastern Conference, and Trae Young is averaging 21.9 points on 38% shooting from the field and 33% from the three-point line. And you don't have to be a statistician to know that these are poor numbers, especially for Trae Young. I mean, 21.9 points a game isn't necessarily terrible, but it is a 3.8 points per game decrease from what he was at last season. And each of the last 4 seasons, he has gone down in his points per game average. And this year's efficiencies and shooting percentages have been the worst of his entire career. And yes, he is averaging 12 assists per game, but this has looked like very empty stats on a very bad Atlanta Hawks team that doesn't look like it's going to be a winning organization anytime soon. Within Trae Young's career, he was at first thought of as a potential future great within the first 3 seasons of his career, especially after in his 3rd season he led the Hawks to an Eastern Conference final appearance, and he looked very good throughout that playoff run, except for a few shaky moments or shaky games where he would shoot the ball inefficiently. But as his career has gone on, Trae Young has had immense struggles with sharing the ball, and efficiency has been his number one downfall. As if you look at Trae Young throughout his career, he has never been an average or above average efficiency three-point shooter, because he's a volume shooter and he's going to shoot the ball 25 times and have 12 of them be threes, regardless of whether they're going in or not. And yet he's touted as a top shooter in the league. But if you look at shooters such as Damian Lillard and Steph Curry and even James Harden at times, they have been able to balance out being a high volume shooter and a high efficiency player. And even James Harden, who isn't known for his efficiency, has been at least league average at shooting the 3 ball throughout his career. But Trae Young has always hovered around 33 to 34% from the 3-point line, and league average is right around 34 to 35%. And you might say, oh, that's not terrible. It's only a couple percent below the league average. But when you're shooting 6 to 10 3-point shots a game, and that's your primary focus is to shoot threes as an undersized guard, you have to be able to shoot the ball efficiently if you want your team to be able to win. And time after time, we see late in games, if it's a close game, maybe a 4-point game going to the last 5 minutes, Trae Young will try to take over and he'll start to shoot a lot of very bad shots. And he's been known as a very above average long distance 3-point shooter and put in the category of Steph Curry and Damian Lillard as deep range 3-point shooters. But history has proven that he'll make a couple of those a game and it'll go on a highlight reel, but he has not been efficient in those shots. And if you look at the numbers specifically, he is way behind players like Steph Curry and Damian Lillard in terms of efficiency, but he's right there with them in terms of volume. And that's been a major problem for this Hawks team as they sit 7-11 right now, and their superstar, who they're tied so much money into, cannot hit shots and has looked very poor throughout this season and is arguably having the worst season of his entire career. Is it time for the Atlanta Hawks to move on from Trae Young? And if he goes elsewhere, will he be able to revive his career? Or will it be more the same in efficient shooting, poor defense, and empty stats? Let me know in the comment section below. And God bless you all. Have an amazing day. And make sure to subscribe to the channel.
Hawks timeout. 7:01 to go. First quarter.